was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Be like a horse with blinkers.
Honestly say, I was about to have sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
My name is Siyasanga. I am 40 years, mother of 2, and I am self-employed.
I'm Fanny Swayisa. I'm a freelance actor, theatre maker, and director.
Hi, my name is Bongi Winkapa. I'm 33. No babies yet. Hopefully next year, in a year or 2. Customer services currently.
Hi there, my name is Primrose. I'm a mother, I'm a writer, and I'm a woman activist.
You know how when women are married and they are somehow getting abused in this relationship, and then you go home and then you go to your parents, especially your female, your aunts, your mothers, your grandmothers, and then the first thing they would say is like nyamezela.
Imagine.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. When I saw. And you must endure nonsense.
Yeah.
You're being ill-treated, you're being abused in so many ways. And when you must endure that because you're a married woman and you're a black woman being married to a black man who's mistreating you. This person says that they love you. It's absolutely ridiculous, preposterous.
And these are supposedly the matriarchal women that everybody looks up to within the family. And like my grandmother is like amazing and she's an icon. And she's the one who says, go back to that asshole and please him so that he can abuse you even more.
Goodness.
So like the contradiction for me is just always like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me right now? Are we then saying that it's okay for abuse to carry on so that we can carry on family names? Do you know what I mean? Are we basing our relationships or marriages on the fact that we have to normalize abuse?
Yeah,
particularly gender-based violence.
we are so vocal. For me, that it's not such an external thing because I don't like talking about general things because we somehow lose the human touch of it. For me, it always starts home. It starts from how there are different roles that a boy and a girl plays at home. Somehow boys have always managed to get away with a lot.
Oh, goodness.
And most of the time they get away a lot because of they're being protected by the mothers, you know, like the boys, you know,
some sort of special treatment.
And for us to expect that those things are not going to carry on outside the home, we are being naive because they will do what they've learned.
The little prince syndrome. The little princess, so the girl must be able to do everything, and then the prince comes. Oh, did you play nicely? Are you hungry?
Are you hungry?
Sit down.
Where's your
Do you
laundry?
like your shoes? Where's your laundry? Can I make your bed?
So when they grow up to be men, they come to a relationship and to a marriage with those kind of expectations. And if they're not getting that,
hell will break loose.
I call it the prick syndrome. Because now you've learned it at home. You've learned this behavior so much at home that it's okay for you to treat any female individual in such a manner, which is a shame. Because for me, a boy child needs to know that to just treat his fellow student or his fellow schoolmate in a certain manner, it's a problem. It's not okay for you to do that or for you to pull her hair because she's a girl. It's not okay. Behave in a certain way that you will be able to use on the outside when you do grow up in the long run and whatnot. Because I mentioned to you earlier, Prim, that when these boys have male siblings, they mimic everything that they see because they see that person as the star, the one person that could never do wrong. So they do exactly what that other individual does, which is wrong in most situations because they don't learn from it. They just mimic and do exactly what that person did.
There's nothing to compare it with.
Nothing to compare it with. And a boy child needs to be taught from at home. It's not okay for you to act like that. Just because you're a boy doesn't give you special privileges.
Can you actually make your bed?
No. Can you make your
child?
bed? Can you make yourself breakfast? Can you make your mother breakfast?
Yeah.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
No, man.
As a result of what happens within like the home spaces, then we are left with men who are entitled to our bodies, who are entitled to our homes, who are entitled to everything that we're about because they think they own us. And that's where it begins, because when you resist that, you come at a wall that has been built for so many years that someone is just thinking, are you kidding me? My mother never told me that this is wrong. My grandmother never told that, so it's a collective of women creators that are creating these little monsters that we're breeding, and then we can't handle them when they come with a sense of entitlement. And for me, that's the problem is already like so advanced that we're dealing with like a war. We're almost at war with our own people.
We grew up in an era, I don't know if it's still happening, where if you get into a relationship and then the man becomes abusive, it's seen as a sign of love. If I can, you know, that kind of thing. I don't know if you've heard of that. That kind of that.
It still happens.
And then, you're only a child. I mean, when you start dating and you get into these relationships, and then you grow up with that, knowing that my man has to be abusive in order for me to know that I'm being loved, I'm loved, you know, that kind of thing. Which, for me, I think it perpetuates what we see now, the gender-based violence. It's continuing. It's not going to stop because we are not putting an end to it. We are not putting our foot down. The little that we're doing, I feel it's not enough because it's terrible. And being a mother of girls, I worry about my girls. What kind of men are they going to date if they decide to date men? You know, what kind of relationships would they have? Would they be able to stand up for themselves? Should they find themselves in abusive situations? You know, that kind of thing. It actually keeps me up at night.
And would they know when they're in an abusive relationship? Because I also think that's one of the things we have not unpacked. We have not identified the signs to our children, to saying that these are the signs of abuse. It's not necessarily have to be a physical one. It could be a verbal one. It could be anything. Those are the signs. And for me, if you come from an abusive family surrounding, and then your parents seem fine, how are you going to pick up those signs?
Which is also quite informed by the fact that men feel entitled to women's bodies. Yes. And if they think that you don't want them, it's kind of like a sign of rejection. How can you don't want me? And I'm like, who the hell are you?
No, man. That's how they feel. That's how they feel, Prim, for real. That's how they feel.
The world calls me a woman.
Oh my God. Oh my God, funny. Sitting Usiza, when you're coming through, they're standing in a corner. Like it typically happens. They're sitting in a corner. I'm walking through. If I choose to wear a short pant, as much as the lesbian, a butchy kind of look, at the same time, I don't want to be classified as a butch lesbian. If I want to be that person, okay, I want to wear my shorts, go get a cigarette, jonga, bazixelele uba jonga, nanku yasi, mfumene namhlanje. Mna nzamenza jike le nto ayiyo ucinga ngubani and who does she think she is? It's a shame, because for me ngela xesha lana it's a situation of you are so uninformed, it's a joke. For him ngoku, if ever bendiku situation right, I would actually, I mentioned it to you earlier, the moment a person retaliates and whatnot, that's an opportunity for education there. But at the same time, when it comes to such individuals, you're so scared that you don't even have to, you don't have that moment. It's violent behavior.
It's violent behavior.
You're scared.
How do you then call it out and retaliate when you're on your own and it's like a mob of like 15 boys in your hood, and if something happens, everyone is just going to look the other way?
There we go.
If it's my fault, we understand why was she walking around in a short?
Why?
Like, which already is problematic.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that thing. I don't think... When these like the rapes happen, there hasn't been signs before that there's a potential abuse here. But when, as a community, have we reached that point of silence that, you know what, it's none of my business? Because you know what I mean? Because these things are always they start brewing small.
I remember the one time I was out of town and I had left my son with a male in the house. That morning when they had to go to school, they called me at least 7 times to ask, like, where is the shirt? Like, where's the underwear? Like, where are the shoes? I'm like, where are they supposed to be?
Normally.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, the food is normally in the fridge. The clothes are generally in the cupboard. Like, can you not find your way? around that space.
I'm the only child, so I don't have references of the female and the male role. I mean, up to date, I cannot stand a guy when I'm cooking who doesn't do the dishes. For me, it's like I cannot stand a guy who can clean up after himself because I do not understand
Why not? How's about cook?
I believe like if you cook, then I'll do the dishes type of vibe. You know, let's share the whatever. And those. So for me, these things surprise me because I see them outside. It's something I've never experienced at home because I've never, and all the boys who came to their house, because they were not born there or they not grew up there, there's already something that is set in the house. For instance, my mother had to work long hours. So if she's not at home, I had to cook. I had to do all of those things. So if anyone is at home and anyone is not at home, that's what people are expected to do.
Yeah, whether
do you know what I mean? Whether you do those things. And I will really, really, really stress to, I think those things start at home.
They do.
I think and maybe we're not being fair to women because we keep saying, you know, what mothers should be doing. The fathers as well. What are they doing?
Where are they?
I mean, they don't even do the grass anymore.
The one day, remember the one night we were having a conversation. My issue, just my observation for the woman, it's okay for a woman to be a housewife, but we don't see as many men being house husbands. For me, I understand it's a personal choice. You have the right to choose whatever you want to do. But for me, it's like sitting down with myself, I'm thinking, how's about the girl child or even the boy child see the father sitting at home and the mother going to do some work and bringing the bacon home instead of it's always the mother who's at home. So for me, it kind of perpetuates the stereotype that a woman's role or a woman's place is in the kitchen at home. And we are professional women right now. We are educated, like all equal, or supposed to be equal with men. But still, it's us who are expected to stay at home, raise the kids. What message are we sending across to our kids?
But even, in most cases, even if both parents are working, the woman is going to be the one who comes home and still cook.
Starts making supper.
Who starts making supper.
The husband cannot be
having a beer and catch up on news and
4:30 in the afternoon. He could easily start in imbiza yenyama so long. And if you baby girl start doing something, clean up, start. Why can't they do that?
I remember Osbongile Khumalo in one interview saying that she had a gig. And she finished her gig around about, I don't know, it was 12:30 or something. And when she got home, the man was sitting there waiting for her to cook. And I'm just like, Ulambile lo mntu. Do you know where the fridge is? After a gig, 12:30 in the evening.
My friend was called by her brother the other day. We were at work. We were working late. He was asking, what are you going to cook when you get home? What am I supposed to eat? And I'm going...
The brother?
Yeah. And then I'm going, is there no food at home? She's like, no, there's food. The fridge is full. But he's expecting for her to come home and cook. But he's been sitting at home there. I was like, no, guys, that's abuse.
Now, I always try to find a funny element to because, I mean, we've spoken about it so much and whatnot. Men don't know how to behave and whatnot. It's almost as if they don't know how to behave in Gogo because it's always been like that. If they behave a certain way, they're going to be treated in a certain way. Gandhi, how about you just change your fucking behavior? Excuse my French. How about you just change the way you're acting because you know you're not supposed to be acting like that. You're not going to be less popular if you're acting right. You're actually going to be more relevant.
My dream is to live in a society where we don't have to fear for our lives every day we walk on the street.
My dream is for our brothers not to forget when they're out there that they're someone else's brother, uncle, son, and father.
My dream is to see a society where gender equality is not just a dream, where we all live equally, men, women, girls, boys.
My dream personally is I'm hoping that in the next, actually 3, 4, 5 years, the girl child receives the same opportunity as the boy child in South Africa. A woman is as equally relevant as a man. And let's love our women, man.